Yeah, this is kind of surreal. When I first covered USF 20-something years ago, I never would have envisioned UCF being in a Power 5 conference. It's just incredible.
I think it's really exciting. I think that UCF, you've got an established brand. I know from talking to lots of people in the Big 12, there's really excitement that this is a really big base and one with a ton of upside. And I think you can tell from Brett Yormark so far, that's what he's looking for. He's looking for programs he can invest in that he thinks can make this conference more valuable over time. I certainly think they feel that way about UCF. And to be honest, when you look at the Big 12, really in 2024 and beyond, in terms of everybody, I feel like it's kind of a level playing field in terms of recruiting and talent and all that stuff. I feel like UCF, with stability under Coach Gus Malzahn and his staff, I think they have as good a chance as anybody to be a contender.
Yeah, I think that UCF is going to be a great fit for the Big 12, obviously planting their flag in the state of Florida. And I think the greatest thing for UCF right now is also just the ability to set themselves apart as a program in that state, in that region of the country, that's doing something just a little bit different. And I think that fits really well with what the Big 12 is doing.
Well, the new Big 12 is obviously spanning national, trying to take up as many time zones as it can. To get into Florida is huge for a conference that has been so Texas-based. You've got Texas, you've got Ohio, you've got Florida. That's a lot of fertile recruiting ground for all of these schools to move in. Everyone's going to try to come into Florida. UCF's been competing with Florida, Florida State, Miami in that state, and now there's going to be more Big 12 presence in Florida as well, probably.
As far as the Big 12, from people I've talked to, they are really pumped up about UCF coming on board. Obviously, it opens up Florida as far as recruiting, and that's huge for the Big 12. And I think just the way that UCF's program has gone from being an independent to being in the MAC to being in Conference USA, I think it'd be quicker to name the conferences you guys weren't in.
Well, UCF has obviously grown into one of the biggest schools in the entire country. It's going to have one of the biggest alumni bases in the country very shortly here, and there's a lot of potential through that sheer manpower of getting everybody on the same page and funneling that organization and excitement into the place. They've sold out season tickets 4 times in 5 years. There's a lot of excitement around this place, and it's the fastest move up to the kind of the Power 5 we've ever seen. The youngest Power 5 program by 30 years, and UCF calls itself the future of college football, and it's not hard to see why.
Getting to talk to Terry Mohajir and to Gus Malzahn, it's just such a young alumni base and such an engaged student body in so many ways. And I think that's a really exciting thing to be joining the Power 5 ranks.
Starting next year with the 12-team playoff, UCF, you win the Big 12, you're in the Big 12 title game, you've got a legitimate shot to get to the college football playoff, unlike past years where you guys have run the table and been on the outside looking in.
I think they're getting really good players in recruiting and in the transfer portal, and I really like what they're building. I think that it's going to take a little time to adjust, but I really see UCF can be one of those schools that can compete with TCU and Oklahoma State and Kansas State and these programs that have been really successful in this conference.